Anji, Assalamu alaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we will study the calculation of XRD parameters from the course of characterization techniques. First of all, the question is what is XRD? Before starting the calculation or the formulas, so we should have an understanding about what is XRD. As we know, XRD is the X-ray diffractometer. X-ray diffraction is the method of X-ray crystallography in which the beam of X-rays strike a sample crystalline solid or any other solid thin film like and land on a piece of the film or other detectors to produce the scattered beam. As we have studied it before, that the X-rays, when the X-rays falls on the sample may be the crystalline, amorphous or any other type of the sample except water or liquid, mean it should be dry sample or the maybe film. When the X-rays are fallen on these samples, so the diffraction will be occur, and after this diffraction, the output beams will be collected by some detector, and they will be produce a particular beam pattern, which is shown by the XRD micrograph. And these beams make a diffraction pattern of the spot, and the strength and the angles of these beams are recorded as the sample is gradually rotated. As the sample is gradually rotated from 0 to theta position, maybe from 0 to 90, maybe from 0 to 120, or as your recommendation. So the X-ray crystallography is a method of determining the arrangement of the atoms within the crystal. Mean we can find out the arrangement of the atom. By the arrangement of the atom, we can see that is this crystal is cubic, or is this crystal is hexagonal, or is this crystal is monoclinic, or any other type of the crystal we can judge by the arrangement of the atom, in which the beam of X-rays strike a crystal and scattered into many different directions, or these directions is according to their HKL parameters. So after getting the XRD micrographs, we can calculate many parameters. Measure the average spacing between the layer or the rows of the atoms. We can measure the spacing between the layers, and we can determine the orientation of the single crystal or the grains. Find the crystal structure of an unknown material. And we can also measure the crystallite size. That is very important. With the help of the Debye-Scherrer formula, we can calculate dB, that is the crystallite size. And we can determine the strain. We can also determine the X-ray density, dx, and the bulk density, rho. And we can also find out the reciprocal lattice, Rp, and we can also determine the porosity, percentage porosity. Okay. So all these parameters may be calculated by using the X-ray diffractometer, diffraction X-ray micrograph. Just like this, it is a single peak which we have zoomed for the studying of different parameters, and this significance of the peak shape XRD, and we can see that this is a peak. It has full width at half, maximum at half intensity, and we can calculate, and the data which is provided by the machine also contains the value of full width at half maximum, as we have seen in Excel file yesterday. So, or we can also fit the Gaussian, Lorentzian, and the Gaussian, Lorentzian, etc. for the peak, for getting the maximum fitting peak. So we can obtain this parameter peak position, that is the central point of this peak. This is the peak position. Okay, if this is the Bragg angle of the 2 theta, we can find out the peak position. And we can also find out the peak width by getting the full width at half maximum, and also the peak intensity that contains the amplitude of the peak. Important for the particle or the grain size or the residual strain. So we can calculate all these parameters from this peak. Okay, now we will study these parameters one by one. First of all, the crystallite size. By using the XRD, we can calculate the crystallite size by using the Debye-Scherer's formula, that is dP. Usually we indicating this with the help of dP, and we can also say d is equal to 0.9 into lambda. Lambda is known, which is the wavelength of the target material, that is copper, and its wavelength is 1.54 angstrom. Divided by beta. Beta is the full width at half maximum cos of theta. So here we are talking about these parameters. Lambda is the wavelength of the copper, theta is the peak position, central peak position. Okay, beta is the full width at half maximum, that is the width of the peak, and the full width at half maximum should be in radian. This is very important point. If you are not converting this beta into radian, then we will not get the correct answer of the crystallite size. So we should convert this beta into radian first, then use this beta in this formula. Okay, to convert the full width in at half maximum in the radian, we multiply the width value by pi by 180. Okay, first of all we will get the full width at half maximum. Okay, when we have a value of full width at half maximum, then multiply this value by pi by 180 to get the value, to convert the value into radian. So it is very important to convert this into radian. Angle should be in degree, or this cos of theta. Theta should be in degree. There is no need to convert this theta into radian. Okay. 1 angstrom mean that is equal to 0.1 nanometer. Now the next parameter is the planar spacing or the d spacing. By using the XRD, we can calculate the d spacing by using the Bragg's law. And what is the Bragg's law? That is n lambda is equal to 2d sine of theta, where n is equal to 1, and it will give the first order diffraction. For getting the first order diffraction, we always take n is equal to 1. So always we are talking about n is equal to 2d sine of theta. Planar spacing, that is equal to d HKL. Is the now whenever we substitute, we want to calculate d HKL, so we will shift to n sine of theta on the other side of the equation. So it's mean when we shift it, it will become n lambda divided by 2 sine of theta. So we can calculate d. So d is very simple to calculate this. We only need lambda, which we know already, and 2, and sine of theta. Theta is the central position of the peak position of the, or the location of the peak. So it is very easy to find out this. So we can calculate DHKL. Okay. So we can calculate n lambda divided by 2 sine of theta. Now the lattice parameters. How we can calculate the lattice parameters? Lattice parameters, we always know these are the 3-dimensional crystal structure, and A is along the x-axis, where B is along the y-axis, and C is along the z-axis. And we know that the crystal has the angle, that is alpha, beta, and gamma. Alpha along the x-axis, beta along the y-axis, and gamma is along the z-axis. So these 3 angles should be equal in case of cubic. Okay, and the alpha and whereas we are talking about the lattice parameter, the values of A should be equal to B, should be equal to C in case of cubic crystal. The lattice parameter describe the size and the shape of the unit cell. Okay, because whenever we have the value of lattice parameter, it's mean okay, we can judge the shape of the crystal. So from this we can judge the shape of the crystal. Is this cubic, hexagonal, or any other type of the shape? There are three lengths A, B, and C that describe the cell edges, and there are three angles alpha, beta, and gamma that describe the three angles between the adjacent cell axis. Lattice parameters and their use to describe the crystal system. Lattice parameter, how we can calculate these lattice parameter by using the XRD micrographs. We can calculate the lattice parameter by using this formula, that is that is the lattice parameter. A is equal to D HKL dot H square plus K square per L square. You know that yesterday we have calculated or assigned HKL parameters to the particular peak value by matching with the JCPD card. After getting that values for each peak, we came to know that this is our HKL parameters, and we can, if let's suppose we have 3, 1, 1 parameters, mean H has a value of 3, 1, K has value 1, L has a value of 1. So it's mean we can easily calculate this value. And the D spacing, we can calculate the D spacing with the help of the previous formula here. Here we can calculate the D spacing very easily from this formula. Here you can see these values will be used in this formula, and we know the HKL parameters, and by substituting their values we can get A, that is the lattice parameter for the cubic structure. Okay. Now DHKL, this D should be small. Okay. Planar spacing or the D spacing, HKL Miller indices. For example, for plane 3, 1, 1, we H has is equal to 3, K is equal to 1, and L is equal to also 1. By substituting their values, we can get the lattice parameter. Effect of the lattice strain on the diffraction peak position and their width. Here you can see this is a very uniform crystal structure. Here all the crystals are oriented in the same direction. There is no stress. They are uniformly distributed. So the peak is uniformly distributed between the central values. Okay, there is no strain. If there is a strain, so you can see the values of this D is a little bit broadened than this value. So there is this shift is uniform strain, and after getting the uniform strain, the peak is uniformly shifted towards the left side, and if shift towards the lower angle. Or if there is a strain which is not uniform, non-uniform strain has a non-uniform distribution of the crystal structure. So some crystals are broadened, some crystals are oriented in some particular angle, and their angle is different from each other. So this broadening will be take place, and whenever we get the broadened peak, it means that there is a large strain as compared to the peak which has a sharp peak. Now the calculation of strain. By using the XRD micrographs, we can also calculate the strain by using this formula eta, that HKL of the particular peak. Strain is calculated for every particular HKL plane, or you can say for particular peak. That is equal to beta. Beta is a full width at half maximum divided by 4 tangent of theta. Theta is the peak position. Okay, that is a central peak position. So beta is a full width at half maximum. Full width at half maximum should be in radian. Okay. This is very important. If you are not going to convert full width at half maximum into radian, it means your answer will be wrong. To convert the full width at half maximum in radian, we multiply the width value by pi by 180. Okay. So we should have to multiply the value of full width at half maximum by pi by 180. Now we can also calculate the X-ray density. X-ray density can be computed using the following formula: dx, that is indicated by the X-ray density, is equal to 8m divided by Na square. Now what is m? M is the molecular weight of the sample. This is the molecular weight of your sample. If you are using magnesium ferrite MgFe2O4, then you can calculate the molecular weight of magnesium and iron. Just put the value of atomic mass of the magnesium and atomic mass of iron, multiply it by 2, and by summing this you can calculate the molecular weight of your sample. Okay, so 8, what is 8? 8 is a constant. N is the Avogadro numbers, and N is equal to 6.02 into 10 raised to power minus 23. 8 is comes from the cubic structure. Okay, A is the latest parameter, which we have already calculated with the help of formula, where A cube gives the volume of the unit cell. For the cubic structure, we know that A is equal to B is equal to C. It's mean whenever we want to calculate the volume of the cubic structure, it's mean we will multiply A for 3 times, because A is equal to B is equal to C. So there is no difference between A, B and C. If we take the cube of A, it's mean we can write down its volume or volume of the unit cell. Now the next, bulk density. We can also calculate the parameter of bulk density, and the bulk density can be computed using the formula mass per bulk volume. Mass per bulk volume is equal to m divided by v. Okay, so how you will calculate this? By using the Archimedes principle, by taking the water in any vessel and then weigh your material. After weighing your material, you add this material in a vessel and then measure the position and take the difference between the two positions. That will give you the mass, how much mass and what will be the difference in the position. You will calculate the bulk density by using the Archimedes principle. It is very easy to calculate bulk density. Now the percentage porosity. Percentage porosity is one of the very important parameters of XRD, X-ray diffractometer. The percentage porosity for the prepared samples can be calculated using this relation. Percentage porosity is equal to 1 minus bulk density, which we have already calculated in the previous slide, and divided by X-ray density multiplied by 100. Okay. So in this way, percentage porosity can be calculated by using both densities, that is X-ray density and the bulk density, which we have studied previously. This is the bulk density and this is the X-ray density. So by using the X-ray density and bulk density, we can calculate the percentage porosity. Okay. Now the reciprocal lattice. How we can calculate the reciprocal lattice? Reciprocal lattice for the cubic structure can be computed using the formula. If you are calculating V1, V2, V3, these are the reciprocal lattice. Multiplied by 2 pi, A2 multiplied by A3, and A1, A2, A3. These are the lattice parameters. Okay. So by using these parameters or this formula, we can calculate the reciprocal lattice of the cubic structure, and the reciprocal lattice for SC lattice. The primitive transition vector of the simple cubic lattice may be taken as A1 is equal to AX, A2 is equal to AY, A3 is equal to AZ. So these will be ABC. X, Y, Z are the orthogonal vectors of the unit length, and the volume of the cell is A1 multiplied by A2 multiplied by A3. Its mean it becomes A raised to power 3. That is the volume of the unit cell of the cubic. I told you before that in cubic unit cell A is equal to B and B is equal to C and C is equal to A. All these A, B, C are equal to each other. That's why we again assign these A1, A2, and A3, or ABC is the same thing. The primitive transition vector of the reciprocators are B1, if we are talking about B1, 2 pi over A into X, B2, 2 pi over A, Y, B3 is equal to 2 pi over A. So in this way, we can calculate the reciprocal vectors with the help of X-ray micrographs. Thank you very much for your attention.